Oh boy, we're in for a treat today. As soon as I saw the announcement of Iron Man and his awesome friends, I knew from the start that it was gonna suck. I mean, how? How can Disney Jr. possibly get any lazier? It's one thing to make a spin-off of Spidey and his amazing friends, which remains the worst Disney show of all time, but giving it almost the same name. That just screams, we don't give a crap. This is one of those shows where its existence alone is enough to make me hate it. Ignoring Spidey, this is literally just another kids' superhero show. We've seen this concept so many times, especially on Disney Jr. We got PJ Masks, Super Kitties, Kia and the Kimoha Heroes, Robo-Gobo, and apparently there was another one a few years ago named The Rocketeer. I've never seen it, but it only lasted for a year, so I guess it didn't do very well. Don't get me wrong, not all these shows are bad. PJ Masks, Super Kitties, and the Kimoha Heroes are really good. But this is the most overdone thing in the history of kid shows, and I'm so sick of it. I get it, kids like superheroes, but when is it enough? So, does Iron Man and his awesome friends manage to stand out in any way? Why am I even asking this question? I already know the answer. So, without further ado, let's tear this show to pieces. So, this show actually has one major problem. We'll talk about the characters and the writing in just a bit, but this show has one main issue that we need to address. It's literally the exact same thing as Spidey. If you're gonna make a spin-off like this, the very least you can do is make it stand out in one way or another. What makes Iron Man and his awesome friends different from Spidey and his amazing friends? Nothing. Nada. Heck, even Rubble and crew managed to have its own identity outside of Paw Patrol. Oh god, you know it's bad when I'm giving Rubble and crew credit. But my point is, this show does absolutely nothing to stand out from Spidey. Every episode starts with the three main heroes doing something mundane, then something bad happens. Usually caused by a villain, then they suit up and save the day, and occasionally learn lessons. Rinse and repeat. If I want to watch this kind of plot, I'd just watch Spidey. Or literally any other superhero kid show. The only difference is that unlike Spidey, the Iron Friends, which is the lamest superhero team name of all time, don't have to keep their identity secret. They can just take off their masks in front of anyone. But that doesn't really change anything. It's still the exact same show. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the characters. This is the main problem I had with Spidey and his amazing friends. The three main characters, Peter, Gwen, and Miles, are some of the biggest Mary Sues/Gary Stews I've ever seen. They have no distinct personalities, and on top of that, they hardly have any flaws. They just do their jobs perfectly without making any mistakes. I hate characters like that so much. Our three main heroes in this show are Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, Riri Williams, aka Iron Heart, and Amadeus Cho, aka Iron Hulk. Are they any better than the Spidey team? Well, kind of, but not by much. It's like comparing rotten apples to spoiled milk. But these guys have a bit more personality than the Spidey team, and sometimes, they even have flaws. I know, right? It sounds crazy, but it's true. In one episode for example, Amadeus helps a guy with his food truck. All he asks for is a new battery, but Amadeus goes way overboard. He adds all these unnecessary features that overload the battery, and it causes the truck to turn into a giant robot chicken and terrorizes the town. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, but at least it's something different. A hero causes the problem instead of a villain. That's not something we see very often in these superhero shows. I mean, it's nothing spectacular, but compared to Spidey, it's kind of refreshing. And speaking of the villains, good lord, do these guys suck. They are some of the most cookie-cutter, lame, and just plain flat villains you'll ever see. How the heck do you make villains boring? They're supposed to be the best part of superhero shows. They're the ones who drive the conflicts and raise the stakes. But these villains are so one-dimensional almost to a parody level. Ultron is a robot who likes to cause trouble. Absorbing Man has the ability to absorb the properties of anything he touches. That's a pretty cool power, but he uses it for such stupid reasons. And Swarm is the worst of them all. She uses her mechanical bugs to make messes, and that's it. These guys have next to no motivation to do what they do. They just like to cause minor inconveniences for no reason other than they're evil. And that sucks, because in other Disney Junior shows, they at least try to give their villains more depth. For example, in Super Kitties, the villains feel like real people with understandable motivations. They don't want to take over the world and cause mass destruction, they only do bad things to solve a problem they're facing. In one episode, a villain named Lab Rat creates a magic flower for her best friend, Otto. But then a girl comes and accidentally crushes it, and it makes Otto sad. In response, Lab Rat decides to use a giant robot boot to destroy all the flowers in the park, because according to her, if Otto can't enjoy his flower, no one can enjoy theirs. What makes Super Kitties villains so well written is that they actually feel like characters with real motivations. Meanwhile, the Iron Man villains feel more like plot devices to stir up conflicts. Okay, I've been pretty negative so far, so let's take a break from roasting this show for a second and talk about some things I like about it. Don't worry, there aren't much. Firstly, I like the character designs. I mean, the art style looks like literally every other Disney Junior show airing right now, but I dunno, there's something about the character designs that kind of appeals to me. The voice acting is pretty solid too. Everyone suits their roles, and the characters' voices are honestly nice to listen to. It's a shame these voice actors were given nothing to work with. Oh, sorry, we're talking about positives. What else do I like about this show? Oh yeah, the theme song is really good. It's catchy and upbeat, and it puts you in a good mood. But it's also really misleading. A theme song like this makes you think you're watching a good show. Anything else? Well, I guess I like Tony's dad. He's the only character with an actual personality.
Stark Expo.
Ultron Expo.
Stark Expo.
Ultron Expo.
Stark Expo.
Ultron Expo.
Ultron Expo.
Stark Expo. Ah.
Yeah, that's all I got. Now back to roasting this show. Now, I could go on and on about how this show is a huge cash grab and shouldn't exist. Like, even if you like this show, you gotta admit, it's a cheap way for Disney Junior to get a quick buck. But honestly, saying that this show is a cash grab is like saying the sky is blue. Look, there's always gonna be merchandise, but if you make a show specifically to sell toys, that's not a good sign. With that being said, just because a show is a cash grab, doesn't automatically make it bad. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic was made to sell dolls, and it's really good. Yes, I've watched that show, even though I've never mentioned it on this channel. But my point is, with good writing and characters, you can take a 20-minute toy commercial, and turn it into something truly special. So, does this show have good writing? Why do I keep asking questions I already know the answer to? This show's writing is atrocious. Not only is it impressively boring, but the pacing is so agonizingly slow. If this was a slice of life show like Molly of Denali, this wouldn't be an issue. But this is a superhero show, which usually has lots of fast-paced action. I don't mind a moment or two when the characters just sit around and talk. In fact, I actually encourage that, but these scenes just go on and on. And at no point is it funny or even interesting. Like, I don't care if you like to help the citizens. Just get back to fighting the bad guys already. And don't even get me started on the dialogue. Like I said, these voice actors are great, but the lines that they're given are so forced and unnatural that it makes the experience more tedious. This line in particular really annoys me.
Uh-oh. Is that good uh-oh or bad uh-oh?
Riri, I don't know if you know this, but when people say, uh-oh, that usually means something bad is happening. There is no such thing as a good uh-oh, you dummy. I thought you were a super genius. I don't like to say this often, but these scripts feel like they were written with AI. Not to mention, the three main characters would often go on and on about how much they love to help people. And every time they say that, it makes me want to turn off the episode. In fact, that actually leads to another problem I have with this show. This is such a huge trend in modern preschool shows, and it's really starting to get on my nerves. Can we please stop writing child characters like this? Being these idealized perfect angels who are nearly incapable of doing anything wrong. It's not realistic, it's not believable, it just feels artificial. I get that you want them to make them good role models for children, but there is a way to do that while making them act like real kids. Take Kia and the Kimoha heroes for example. Kia is a good role model. She's kind, confident, and always willing to do what's right. But do you know what makes Kia work? She actually has a freaking character. Yes, she's nice. But she's also a bit stubborn, she can get jealous easily, and she can make pretty dumb decisions. This is how you write a main character in a preschool show. But in this show, sure, sometimes the characters make mistakes, sometimes they have to learn lessons, but these moments are few and far between. And plus, when your characters talk like this.
Yeah, anytime there's a big, gigantic problem, you do everything you can to help. Oh yeah! Thanks so much! Of course, we'd love to help.
Yeah, can you fix my battery?
I love helping. Let me honest. Happy to help however I can, as often as I can.
It's not believable. Plus, unlike Kia, these characters don't have strong enough personalities to make it work. Overall, Iron Man and his awesome friends is everything I expected it to be. Bland characters, dull villains, no charm, no effort, just a 20-minute toy commercial that only exists to make money and sell those toys. While it's not as bad as the original Spidey, it does nothing to set itself apart. Almost every problem I have with this show can be applied to Spidey. If you like superhero shows, there are so many better options. PJ Masks, Super Kitties, and Kia and the Kimoha Heroes. These shows aren't perfect, but they are infinitely better than this crap. You know why? Because at least they have effort, creativity, and heart. Oh, and for the cherry on top of our misery sundae, Marvel is making another preschool show called Avengers, Mightiest Friends, which is basically a crossover between Spidey and Iron Man. And that doesn't even make sense within the context of both shows. But I'll save that rant for another day. I don't wanna drag this video out more than I have to. This franchise doesn't deserve any more of my time. But anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think of this crash grab. And until next time, party on.